Hi there, and welcome to your 60-minute Hatha, a Live Life Well holiday offering. Thank you to everyone. If you have received this link to this video, I am sending this as a thank you. As I adventure into this space of becoming a yoga teacher, your interest, your questions, you're wondering how are things going, what's that all about kind of conversations have helped me to articulate what I'm doing, to reflect on what I'm doing, and certainly to grow and learn with constructive feedback as well. I appreciate it all. This has been just a great adventure, and I'm so glad to share it with you. It feels great. So thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy the practice. As you settle in, we will practice on the mat today. I will demonstrate some of the pieces on the chair if you're looking for that support. These are the collection of tools that I use to support me as I practice yoga. And I deeply encourage you to consider using the supports that are available to you. These are some, there are certainly others. In this practice of yoga, there's a great piece that I learned is that the best yoga class is the one that you don't sweat through. And often our sweat can come from two different places. It can be from that real great invigoration where we get our heart pumping. But it can also be from our space where we push ourselves beyond strength and into strain. And there's a big difference when you practice a posture in that strength place, and you can open into the posture, into the body alignment, and appreciate the open flow of energy. When we strain ourselves in a posture to bring ourselves to what we think we should look like, or to what our body maybe has done for us before, or that we really, really want it to do. One of my great joys is the dancer pose. Someday my leg will be all the way up there and I'll just thoroughly enjoy it. It certainly isn't right now. And I appreciate getting into the space of the posture where I can celebrate and really shine through my strength. But what all of the prompts do for us is they get us to that point where we can get into an expression of the posture without crossing over into that strain. So I really encourage you, if it's a chair, if it's a block, if it's a belt or a bolster, maybe it's a blanket, lots of bees there, then please bring those into your practice for your safety, but also so that you feel those moments of success in your practice. I remember when we first learned to play golf, it was that one hit that would bring us back to the next game after another 18 holes. And not to say that your yoga practice will be that challenging, but give yourself an opportunity to feel great in these postures. Happy holidays to all of you. Thank you so much for being part of this network of beautiful human beings who have shared their light with me. The light in me is truly thrilled to share this gift with you. Namaste. We're going to start our class onto the mat, and we'll make an effort not to lose my head like we just did in the video. But when we come down to the mat, settling in and letting your body show you where it is, where you're showing up, the body that you're showing up in today. Get a little scan of what's going on. Resting back onto your mat. Feel where the earth is holding you. Your heels, your calves, your hips, your shoulders, your head. Where do your arms lie? Do your feet want to turn out or turn in for comfort? Take some breaths without adjusting. Not adjusting the body yet. Just get an idea of where your twists and turns are, where your strengths will probably be, and where you could send your breath for a little boost of support. If you want to wiggle around, get nice and square on that floor. Feel both hips grounded down, both heels in a good space. Get your shoulders set to a spot where your hands can lay open. Beautiful big breath, drawing it up through the soles of your feet all the way through your system. top of your head, holding it there, and letting it wash down. You relaxing your head, relaxing shoulders, neck, relaxing ribs, the tummy, relaxing muscles in your thighs, your ankles, and your feet. One more breath to move any last little bit of tension you're holding. And let it go. Our next in breath, bring your hands up over your head, stretching them out along the floor above your head. Stretching from head, hands to heels. Stretch the body long, stretch, 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 and relax. On our next in breath, hands are going to go together to the top right corner, stretching up. Feet might be crossing at the ankles, going towards the bottom right corner, creating a crescent with your body. Opening the rib cage. These muscles in our core give us stability throughout the day. Make a little space there for energy to flow. Breathing in. Breathing out, coming back to center. Breathing in again. Reversing this, bringing hands over to top left corner, feet over to top bottom left corner. You might cross at the ankles, creating that crescent with our body, space between the ribs. And check your right hip. Is it rolling up with the leg, or can you anchor it down? Maybe switching the feet. Maybe that right foot goes down, left ankle goes over the top to help anchor the right side. Maximizing the space you can make in your torso. One more breath in. Making that space and breath out. Come on back to center. In this space, we're going to bring some concentrated breath to our practice. You might want to bring your hands to your belly as an anchor point, but we are going to work our concentrated breath through the throat, the mouth, and the back of the nose. When we draw our breath in, we will sound a little bit like Darth Vader, and that's purposeful. We're going to feel that invigoration in our throat. So drawing in through the nose, we'll breathe out through the nose as well. Right? Drawing it in and really pushing the air to the back of your throat like this. And pushing out again. Continue feeling that breath along the back of your throat. Five more this way. After your last exhale, big breath into the belly. Suspend it there. And release slowly. Bringing invigoration to the body, we're going to draw our feet up. Feet are flat on knees are up, feet are flat on the ground. And just get that nice contact with your sacrum on the ground. We're going to move into exhilaration in our abdomen. So we're going to use our abs, do a little bit of ab work. And you might want to keep feet on the ground. You might want to draw them up so that shins are parallel with the floor to a place where you can put hands just below the knees. You can press hands into knees and knees back into hands. Feel that? All right, let it go to have a little rest. You might keep head back on the ground. You might raise the shoulders up. Make sure to keep that space, almost like a nice mandarin orange between your chin and your chest to not strain the neck, to keep comfort in the neck. So we're going to push again.
Invigorating, holding those abs tight, legs to our hands, hands to knees. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you hear me shaking? And release. All right. Hands slide down the legs. If you're finding you like more challenge, you can certainly put legs up when you're doing this challenge. You know, that lever always gives us a challenge. Shoulders, head and neck are up, pushing against the legs, legs against hands, holding for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Hands down. And last one, looking for any challenges, working at that last bit of ab work. Push, 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 legs into hands, hands into legs. 10, 9, breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, breathe again. 4, 3, 2, we should just hold it a little longer, right? 1, and release. Might draw those knees to the chest. Thank your core for all the work that it does. Our front body is constantly in action, and you just got to see what your body can really do for you. Thank you. So your knees are up at your chest. If you haven't brought them in yet, bring those in. And we're going to do that little bit of reset with our knees to our chest. And then we're going to send left leg back down to the floor. It might be foot on the ground or leg straight out. But we want to concentrate on the right knee into the chest, drawing it in. Hands might be on the shin, certainly not on the knee, on the shin or under the thigh. And we're going to draw that leg in, opening some space in the hips. Breathing in to release a little. And when you breathe out, draw a little bit deeper. Feel the movement in the hip. This is where we can talk about efficiency of energy. So right now, my hip is my concentration. So I want to make sure my hips are square, keeping right hip in contact with the earth. And I want to feel that opening in my left hip is down. My right hip is where I want to feel the opening. So I'm moving that leg to where I feel the opening. We might draw it out to the side to open the hip a little further. I might go here to anchor that left hip. We want that efficiency of energy as we're opening this hip is that my concentration is on the hips. Everything else can relax. If you look at my toes on my left foot, they're nice and relaxed. My shoulders are nice and relaxed. My abdomen is nice and relaxed. So use the energy where energy is warranted. Give yourself the rest in the other places. All right, you might bring that knee towards and across center. Again, you're going for opening of the hip. So if the hip draws up, maybe that's going to serve you further back in the pelvis joint there. Just rock it around a little, find that opening. All right, up to finish, and right foot can go down, drawing left foot up. And reverse that. And relaxing through the right leg. Left leg as we're making that space. Maybe drawing it open if you want to bring that to the side. Just check in with right hip, make sure it's staying anchored. Opening, remember we're going for opening all the muscles and ligaments that are attached to that ball and socket joint. Maybe drawing across the middle. Remember, rising that hip up, not so bad, just as long as you're still feeling opening through the hip. There we go. All right, with a breath in and a breath out to appreciate that space in the hips. All right, as I send that leg down, I'm going to get myself into a side, onto my side, and we spent some time here. I don't know if you've noticed this before, but in our practice, we do spend time with our spine in alignment, and it gives our body an opportunity to adjust and to absorb what we've just done for it. So that opening of the hips, we want to come back to a neutral position for the hips so that it can register, oh, okay, this is neutral, this is where I can move, this is where I'm at today. So appreciate that in your lying down. If you are moving up from the floor, right hand can be your muscle, and bring yourself up. And we're going to come to seated position.
And this is one where I often use my props. This pose is called easy pose, but certainly my body doesn't agree. So I bring myself a lot of support. I bring my blocks under my knees so that I'm not feeling the strain in my hips, getting to a position where I can rise up. I can ground my hips and I can rise up, out, nice straight back. Legs are relaxed. Another point of alignment. Our bodies a moment to register homeostasis. Our mind and body connection is always aiming for, working towards homeostasis, that balance. And in yoga, we want to give our body the opportunity to feel that sensation. All right, big breath in. Take in the appreciation, the gratitude, and release what is not serving you. You want to remain in seated position and get comfortable. I just remember that I have a beautiful candle I'd like to light for our practice, and I think this is the time. Just give me a moment. I have brought a candle. With us for our practice today. When you set up for your practice, maybe a candle would be a nice way to set the space, to bring your intentions to something tangible. When we light that candle and we see it burning in our space, it's that energy of the universe. We can see it. It's beautiful. I light this candle with great intentions of sharing this beautiful practice with you. I've also brought, I have some water here with me, and you might have some water with you. And I have made a little water infusion for myself today with cinnamon and cardamom and lime. Sorry, not lime, lemon. And these are some of the flavors of the season that I think could be really helpful to let us release any gunk. That citrus lets us release any gunk that we might be carrying with us, body, mind, heart, or soul. And then those spices, cinnamon and cardamom, get us all warm up inside. Warm up from the inside so that we face some of the chills of the season, then we have that internal to help us out. All right, moving from our easy seat, come forward onto your all fours. We're going to move into the cat-cow, where we are going to give some movement to our spine. And in our cat-cow, we want to open up the lungs by dropping the belly. Head is up and tailbone is up. I'll show you that from the side view in just a moment. So you open your lungs. That's when you take a big, deep breath. And when you reverse, you tip the hips, push back up through this, up to the sky. That's when you're closing the lungs. So breathe out. And from the side, dropping the hips. Shoulders drop back, head is lifted, breathe in. Reverse through the hips, push up through the back, head drops, breathe out. Try this a few times with your own breath cycle. In, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. Go as fast, as slow as it feels good in your body. When you're feeling limber, come back to that neutral spine. Sometimes I like to wiggle a little, move side to side. And there we go. The next pose that we're moving into is called puppy pose. And it is similar to a downward dog in that we're extending the spine, we're extending from the upper shoulders, the neck, to the sacrum. But we're going to do it in a supportive way. I like to use my bolster for this one because I find that I have tightness through my shoulders that just doesn't feel good. The full expression of the posture is to start in your 90 degree at the hip, hands are right down, and just stretch forward until chest is meeting the mat. when I get into that position, that there's tightness in my shoulders, and that defeats the purpose of getting into that posture for me. So I bring my bolster under where my hands would be, and when I move forward, then my armpits and my chest go onto the boulder. I can still get that extension. Hips are up nice and high. I can still get that extension from my hips down to my head. Being sure to breathe in this position. And from here, we are going to slowly raise ourselves up. And we are going to move down to the floor for belly shavasana, giving the body that chance to register the extension that it just experienced. From here, we are going to go into a downward dog to move that a little bit further. So we've rested, we bring ourselves back up onto all fours. And if you've ever wondered about the proportions of our body, our geometry, when we're in our 90 degree at the hip and knee are straight down from the shoulder position, we tuck our toes under and send hips right up. This is our proportion for a true downward dog. So try that without adjusting. Just see where your body is feeling it. Notice that I'm not putting my energy into straightening my legs. I'm really putting my energy into pushing my hips up into the sky. When I do tilt them, I tilt forward in the belly, up at the sacrum to get that full extension. Downward dog is really about an extension of the back. You might move legs here a little bit. The first time in downward dog. And then come back to our all fours. When we get down onto the ground, we're going to move into our Cobra series. So coming down to that belly shavasana. Starting with hands under shoulders. And the head can be resting for a moment. When we invigorate our muscles, we're invigorating the muscles along the back. Be careful. Let your bum, your legs, all of those muscles, let them be efficient and rest. This really is an invigoration of the back muscle. And when we draw up, checking, are we relaxed here? And rest down. One of the tricks that I use is turning my toes towards each other on the mat. It's a restful position for them. Tricky to strain yourselves when you're in there. So relaxing from the toes right up to the bum. And now lifting with the back muscles up off the ground and holding for 2 breaths this time. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And then to lower. From this position, we're going to move into Sphinx, which is the chest opening. So we're going to move forward on our space. So elbows, I've brought my elbows directly under my shoulders, and I'm squeezing them into my sides so that I can really support my body, my upper body. And from here, I'm going to allow my shoulders to drop back. So I don't know if you can see that movement, but drop back the shoulders and then drawing forward from the chest. So opening of the heart center, supporting it with your rings. I like to call them rings, those shoulder blades. Legs and bum are still relaxed. Just check in there. Opening of the heart. If you have anyone practicing with you, this is a beautiful time for them to stand over your back and reach forward and draw their hands across your collarbone, holding you just around the shoulder girdle. If you're in my class, I would come do that for you. beautiful sphinx. We will move into child's pose from here to allow that heart opening to resonate in us. So lowering just a little to get your hands back towards your ribs, pressing up. You might want to move knees to mat width. Whatever is your comfortable child's pose. Knees might stay together. You're certainly welcome to do that. But sending hips back to heels. And when I practice my child pose, one of the options that I like to do is to put my hands through my knees. Head goes and shoulders go to the mat. I find that connection. My hands are now on my heels. This gives me that drawing inward a little bit deeper. So we've opened our heart and now we can get in and enjoy it. Thinking about what lights up your heart. Is it songs? Is it a smile? Is it sharing a great meal with people you enjoy? Think about something that just lights you right up and deep in your heart. Enjoy that inward space. Remain in that space. And take a moment just to check my notes. Taking 2 or 3 more breaths. Inner child's pose, that inward celebration of what lights you up. And when you're ready, bring yourself back up onto your all fours. We're going to stretch up back into that downward dog. We've got some work to do. We're going to head up onto our feet. So up into your downward dog. Remember that your all fours is your proportionate starting point for downward dog. Extending through the back. And then walking those toes forward, coming to a forward fold. And I suggest walking because it gives you a chance to get an idea of where the stretch and the strain might be in your legs. And here we'll hang forward and forward fold. And I like to check on, are my feet in contact with the ground? Is there equal weight between the inside under my big toe and the outside under my baby toe? Am I putting weight into my heels, or am I forward on my toes or back on my heels? Is there equal distribution there? When we start with a solid foundation in our feet, then everything else communicates with us. My calves happen to be quite tight. That's where my tension is. And so when I'm in a forward fold, I don't tend to straighten my legs because I'm still working on that tension in the calves. It expresses here, and that's okay. I'm good with it. I bend my knees as much as I need to express this pose in strength and not to strain. One of those key indicators for me is that I start to shake or to not be able to move or breathe well. Bring your hands to your shins. We're going to do a half lift, breathing in to flatten our back. When I do that, I draw my shoulder blades back onto the back. It's one of my purposeful actions. And breathing out to release. Let's try that again. Hands to the shins, shoulders back to flatten the back. And release. And this time when we breathe, hands are going to go all the way up, butterfly. Breathe in, all the way up. And that's where you're going to lose me. I am going to adjust the camera just a little so that you get more of those standing postures. There, that should give it to us. Still see my feet a little. All right, we've come to mountain pose. Hands are up. You can bring them right down to heart center, breathing out. If you haven't been there already, take a moment in mountain pose. Again, checking in with your feet. Are you feeling equal balance between the base of the big toe, the little toe?
and the two sides, the inside and outside of the heel. Press into those heels. Feel that strength where you connect to the earth. Breathing in. And breathing out, letting hands come down, opening to the strength that's coming up through you. Letting that energy flow up through the engaged legs. You're pressing down into your feet. Feel the strength in your legs. Feel the stability in your pelvis. The posture through your torso. And then efficiency of energy. Let those shoulders relax. Let them drop down the back like your wings, your wing buds. Sitting right back on your back. Turning hands open. Beautiful big breath. All right. We're going to move into our lunges and our warrior poses. So from a standing posture, from our mountain pose, we are going to, you might want to put hands to hips if that helps with your stability. So hands are to hips, sending right leg back, just aiming for a low lunge. So keeping toes facing the same direction, both forward. Back heel, right heel might be up off the ground. If you can see that, might be off on the ground. If you're wanting to bring it a bit forward, then heel might go to the ground, just to feel that strength. The big goal in this lunge is to put equal strength into both legs. We have a tendency to maybe lean onto the forward foot or lean into the back foot. Try to find that center. Feeling that power coming up through the strong legs again. You're breathing in to bring right foot forward. And breathing out to take left foot back. Toes, both sets of toes are facing forward. You're keeping hips square to the front of your mat. And pushing down with both legs, feeling like you have strength, equal amount of strength in both legs. That's our lunge. All right, breathing in to step forward. All right, and for our moving towards our warriors, we will step back with the right leg, but I'm going to go from this side so you can see me turn out. So when we're stepping back into our warrior lunge, we are going to step back with the right again. Start with toes pointing forward, but then drop the heel at about a 45-degree angle. It naturally opens the hips. See how the hip naturally opens? Get to that equal strength between both legs, so pushing down through the feet. Pushing down through the feet, and if anything, drawing them towards each other. You're going to feel that invigoration right here. Hips have naturally opened. Keep the hips naturally open, but then little twists through the ribs, and hands are up. Okay, hands are up, wanting hands to be beside your ears as you stretch up. Opening that rib cage, big breath in. As you breathe out, you might take a crescent and lean back slightly. Keep arms in line with your ears to support the neck. Breathing in here. One more breath in. And breathe out. Hands are down, turning your hip forward and stepping forward with the right. I'll show you the left from the other side. Big breath in for mountain pose. Let's get our hands up. Nice big stretch. Those hands are coming down to our hips with our out breath, and left foot will go back. Okay, remember, toes start facing forward and then turning with the heel, naturally opening the hip. Finding that equal strength between both legs, pulling those legs towards each other. Right, we're going to twist just at the rib cage. Send hands up. Oh, feel that strength. Beautiful, beautiful. Your biceps are by your ears. Nice and tall. Strong legs. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, you may crescent back in the upper body. Keeping arms beside the ears to support the neck.
I'm enjoying this strength. One more breath in. And as you breathe out, turning hips forward, hands down, foot forward. You come through a crescent lunge. We are going to go into our pyramid pose. So again, we'll go back with the right foot. Heel turns at that 45-degree angle. And when we're here, we're actually going to draw our hips back so that front leg straightens. We're going to open our hips completely. We'll come to the other side so I can face you. So we've stepped back with right foot, heel is down, open those hips completely, hands go up, warrior 3. Warrior 2, pardon me. Warrior 2, get good and steady, drawing those legs together. And here we're going to send hips back a little bit so that we straighten our front leg. Careful not to lock there. You just want to be steady, not locked. Hands are up. And hip is really staying up. We're going to stretch forward, stretch forward, stretch forward. When you feel like you've reached that point, I feel it in the back of my hamstring, then hands drop. Triangle pose. Enjoy the strength of your legs. And that strength gives you this agility to open up beautifully through the heart. Your breath is a good test of, have you taken yourself to a good space in the posture? Would you be better to come up a little? I'm going to put hand on leg, or hand can go behind your back. Still encouraging that shoulder to drop out. Right. Breathing in. We're going to lift up. Knee softens. Warrior 2. Okay, to come forward, I'm really careful about this hip because it's connected to this knee. We want that knee to be happy. So turning the hip forward before you step forward. Mountain pose. This time stepping back with your left foot so that we can balance our body. From mountain pose, we step back with our left, turning heel in, opening those hips right up. Hands are up. Nice breath. At this point, I just did something. I just made sure my shoulders are rolling up. Sometimes our shoulders get rolled forward, and we see it in our thumbs. Roll from the thumbs. Let the shoulders sit back. Little wing bits on your back. We're going to push hips back so that front leg straightens. Remember not to lock here. And then we're going to reach forward till you feel that point of stretch or strain and opening at the heart. Lots of options here. Hand can be on leg to support and can be on lower back. Checking in, is your weight equal between 2 feet? Are your legs active and strong? Pulling up that energy from the earth. Opening the heart. Beautiful. One more big breath. Breathing out to rise up. Bend your knee, turn your hip. Stepping forward. Mountain pose. All right, we're going to do one more warrior. This is warrior 3. Warrior 3 is to step back just a little. Heel stays up. We are going to put weight onto, we are going into balancing. So weight goes onto left foot. So keep your toes on the ground just for balance. Now hands go up. You want to make a straight line from your hands to your heels. And now the hip is a fulcrum. So we want to, pushing out through heel and hands, raise that fulcrum as we tip. Oops. That's what happens when I look over. In your balancing, remember your drishti is your focal point. So looking at something that isn't moving near you to encourage this balance in your body. Breathing in to come up. Hands down. Tadasana. Mountain pose. Big breath in. On your breath out, stepping back with the left. Heels are up so that you're encouraging weight onto the right foot now. Find your balance, putting your weight onto your right foot, feeling all 4 parts of that foot grounded in the earth. Onto your toes. Hands are up to create that long line from hands to heel. And then using the hip as a fulcrum, moving forward. Warrior 3. Sometimes called airplane. And hands can come back for airplane. You can come behind the back. Drawing those shoulders right back. Beautiful wing buds. Pushing through the heel and the head. One more big breath in. And breathing out to rise back up. And to realign. Register what you've just done for your body. Thank you. We're going to try a pose that is one that I'm continuing to work on. And I'll tell you the name of it after. Because sometimes we anticipate what's going on in our heads before we give it a try. I've just set up my blocks in front of me at 2 heights because I'm not sure which height I want to use it at. If you have something to support you, you might want to have it in front here. We're doing something similar to our airplane. We are going to head into our forward fold this time. And from our forward fold, releasing at the pelvis, feeling the weight of the body, putting our weight over into our right foot, stretching the left foot back. This is where hands might be on your block at the 2nd level or 3rd level, whatever supports you well. We're going to draw that foot all the way up, as high as our body serves. Hips are staying square to the floor, so we could turn hip out here and change the leverage. We're going to keep hip forward and lifting. This is all glutes, baby. Lifting, maybe leg is straight, maybe not. If you're looking for more balanced challenge, I'm going to take left hand to right calf. See how that goes. Right hand to right calf. Big, beautiful balance. And just because I'm not there with you, you do this. Don't you give up. Big breath in, lowering the leg, rising from the chest and shoulders. Take a breath to let that align in your body. Let's do the other side. Into that forward fold. Find that spot where you can sink in. Maybe bending the knee supports you. Maybe elongating through the spine. Dropping the head. Shaking your head no or yes. All right, let's do this. So weight is going into your left foot. Picking up the right foot. Again, hands might be on the ground, on a block, at whatever height that serves you, and lifting up through that heel. Resist the temptation to open the hip. You're not going to turn it out. You're going to keep it facing the ground. Great balancing. Looking for the challenge. If you're looking for more challenge, right hand to your left calf. Left hand to your left calf. Pushing out through the heel. Draw a breath in. And breath out. We'll bring the foot down. And draw that body up with a big breath in. You've just done standing split. Pretty cool, eh? I do love the standing split. And great challenge to keep going. You might want to use this video a few more times to keep that up. So just checking my notes. We've come through our warrior poses and our standing split. And we do have the opportunity to practice the tree pose. So let's move into tree pose. Take some breaths. You're still in mountain pose. That gives you a good opportunity to feel that strength between the 2 legs. take a moment to check your alignment right now. So just finding your hip bones in your body, the bony parts, you'll find them. So where those hip bones are, you want to point straight down, and that's where you want your middle toe to line up. Sometimes it's hard to gauge that. And another trick that I found and learned in one of my great classes was to put your block between your legs. Now, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but what you can get is that feeling. What I get from it is that feeling of stability when I have the block squeezed between my thighs. Excuse me, I have a alarm on my phone. Here we go. So you might want to try that for your alignment of your hips. And with tree pose, we do want to start from that great alignment point and then shift the weight to that right foot. So notice that I've been in alignment and then shift over. And this is where I've really learned a lot about my feet. I'm going to talk to you about that in another class, but I do a lot of work in this pose to keep my hip, my knee in line with my ankle, and my hip open so I can express this pose. Moving into tree pose, so weight is on your right foot, lifting your left to your toe. At this point, don't lift up yet, but open the hip. So sending the knee out. This might be a full expression for you today. Pushing the hips forward. So I've tucked under at my sacrum, pulled up at my belly button to open the hips, allow them to open. You might draw the foot to the shin. You might draw the foot up into the thigh. If you're doing any of those points, you're pushing foot into leg, leg into foot. And depending on the text you're wearing today, it might work. I'm struggling a little. But holding your pose there. Maybe opening like one of our beautiful Christmas trees. On closing your tree, drawing into your center, bringing that knee forward before you settle it back down. And come to that point of alignment as well, or once again. All right, the weight is even right now. Shifting weight over onto my left. Drawing my knee forward up onto my toe. I'm going to turn that, before I even lift the foot, I'm going to turn that knee out. So I want to feel that hip open. That's a great value of the tree pose, is that opening of the hip. It's our sacral chakra, and our root chakra, our connection with the earth. Then I might draw the foot up, might bring it to the thigh. Let's see how that settles in. Might open like our Christmas trees. Actually, just looking at mine, its arms are going up. When you bring your tree back down, hands come to center, knee comes to center, close that hip before you let it down. All right. From our tree pose, we're going to take our feet mat width apart, and my feet are on a 45-degree angle to my corners. I'm going to send knees out, way backwards in just a moment to finish that up with you. Here we go. We are going to move into garland pose. I'm going to bring the computer angle down a little bit, so we're going back down to the mat. Here we go. All right, for our garland pose, move back a moment. Just looking at the toes and turning them out to about a 45-degree angle, anywhere up to around mat width apart. So on my mat width apart, might be a little bit wider, might be narrower. You're going to find your balance point. Mine is about here, and then I adjust when I go down. Knees are turned out to follow the toes, and sending these out to the sides, lowering down. You're going to find this spot where muscles just hang out here for a second. Yeah, I know. But you can totally do it. So hang out here. You're going to feel where structure got you to this point, but muscles are holding you now. You want to pass that point. Let your bum come down. See that? That's where I shuffle in. I'm going to shuffle so that I can get my elbows comfortably to my knees, and then I can settle right in. And there's a structural sweet spot here. It's garland pose. Rooting down through the feet, connection with the root chakra and our sacral chakra, connecting us to the earth and all that's created. And that contact we create between the hands and the knees and the elbows. Strong, strong. Feel that. Stability. Garland pose. Continue your natural breath. And you're going to decide now. You're going to move to child's pose. You might come from garland to child's pose with hands on the ground, lifting to straighten the legs, and then coming down. You might come from garland and straight forward. Body is more forward, and then sending knees down to the earth. Again, knees might be wide, knees might be close. If you find when you're in child's pose that your hips are not making contact with your heels, that's where a blanket is a great help. Folding it over so that you can send it between the hips and the heels, creating contact, and then coming down onto the earth. We want to get into a rejuvenation, restorative pose here, so that all the body is making contact with its supportive spot. If you find that your head is not reaching the floor, hands can be stacked in fists and resting the head in space. Settling into that child's pose that serves you best. Maybe the supportive pose. Maybe knees are wide and you're connecting with the heels. Hands are going through from the center to the heels again. Resting here, doing all that work of strength and balance. Come into alignment in your body. We're going to move into our cool down of our poses. So coming out of your child's pose and moving towards that easy seat. Sorry, not your easy seat. You're going to move towards sitting on your mat with your feet forward on the ground. And we're moving to something called a fire log pose. It's similar to the easy seat, but the aim is to stack the shins parallel with each other so they look like logs stacked on a fire. This is a pose where I use a lot of props. In fact, I'll use 3 props for this one. I make my blanket into like a block, and I'll use that for support later. But I do want to raise my hips up off the ground, give them a little more space to open. Legs are forward, and maybe you'll be using this support like I do, but let me demonstrate it for you, and then you can decide what works best for you. I'm going to draw my right knee up and drop it open. And that ankle is crossing over my left leg. Now my comfort point is around the knee. I don't want my ankle on my knee. It could be below the knee as well. We're finding the expression again where we're in our strength and we're not crossing over into strain. So I know that with support, I can have my ankle above my knee on my right onto my left leg. And here's where I bring in my first support. See how high my knee is up off the ground? I bring a block right under there so that my muscles aren't straining to hold it there. I am going to now turn my left leg so that it comes under, getting those shins to as close to parallel as I can get. On the spot for that block again. And this is where my bolster blanket comes in, supporting the leg. So I've got a lot of support in this pose, moving towards those shins being parallel. But here, with all that support, I can sit right up, beautiful extension of my spine, open into some breath space. Without these supports, I look fairly ridiculous, and I have a hard time sitting up. If I were to take the back one over, you'd see even more. My knees are all jacked up. So with that support, this is what I've devised. We get to that space of powerful expression of pose. As simple as it does look, this is a pretty big deal for me. So I'll give you time to get into that first expression of fire log, drawing the right leg up onto the left, tucking the left leg around. If that's in your practice, you might leave that leg out straight. Play with this. Type of support. Find a spot where you can sit tall, open to the energy being offered to you. Take it in with the breath. One more breath here. Lifting the eyes. We are going to move into the expression on the other side. So unraveling yourself if you've got any supports in there. Right and left are coming out straight. You might want to shake those out a little bit. Keep right leg nice and straight out. Draw the left knee up towards you, crossing it over at the ankle. Drawing it in to tuck the right foot down. I have to reverse. Here we go. Moving all your pieces to that big opening in your legs and your hips. There we go, your big opening in your hips. To that spot where you can sit up tall, open to the energy being offered to you. Rise up to receive. One more breath here. And release. Work your way out of fire log pose. Placing your props to the side. Next, we're going to move into what is called staff pose. Hips are balanced on the ground. You're sitting right into the earth. Legs out in front of you. You're going to invigorate the body, and then we're going to let it relax. So invigorating the body, drawing the toes towards you. That engages your calves, engage your thighs, engage your glutes. So I'm active from my heels to my hips. Now I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to press them right down beside our hip, and I'm going to push down. I'm not actually rising up off the ground, but I am strong. Feel that strength all the way. Keep breathing. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There might be some movement for you forward. You want to bend the knees to reach them forward. When we're bending forward, we are extending from the sacrum all the way up through the spine to the shoulders and the neck. So no problem to bend the knees. It's supportive, in fact. Bending knees so you can extend. Breathing to fill the back. Releasing to maybe deepen the stretch. One more breath in. Fill the back. And release. Sitting up, knees can go down. We are going to twist our torso. So drawing the right knee up, and sitting, finding that grounding in the hip. We do need that hip to stay down in the twist. Hip stays anchored so that then we can twist from the ribs and the shoulder, possibly the head and neck. Make sure that hip is nice and down. You might cross the foot over to initiate that twist already. So again, hip is anchored. We're going to breathe up, hands up. And when we do that, we've drawn our spine up. We're going to come down. Right hand is going behind the back to push up, give length to the spine. Your left hand might hug the leg to initiate that twist. Twisting at the ribs, the shoulder, possibly the neck. And giving a conscious thought to the hips. Make sure they're anchored. Breathing in here to fill that twist. As you breathe out, let your body release the toxins that are being twisted. Be encouraged to release. One more breath in. And breath out to release. Come out of our twist, breathe in. Hands are going to go straight up again, drawing us up out of that twist and forward. Releasing the right leg to the floor, drawing the left one up. You might cross over at the knee, getting those hips nice and anchored. Remember that your twist initiates from that grounded hip. Breathing up to stretch, give elongation to the spine. Turning with the shoulders, maybe right hand comes around left knee. Left hand is supporting the spine at the back so that there isn't tension through the mid-body, so that there's opening for that twist. Breathing in. Releasing, perhaps to deepen to stretch. Breathing in. Next inhale, hands go up. I guess up out of that stretch, nice elongation of the spine, and releasing hands down with the breath. Arm goes down. Sorry, leg goes down to the mat. From here, we are going to go into bridge, and we will support our bridge for a hold. And then we'll move into our Shavasana. So you may, if you have a block with you, or if you have a bolster, either are supportive into the bridge pose. Keep mine to the side. So bringing yourself to laying down, you might want to go roll onto the right hip and reverse that side plank so that you can roll back without strain. And when you get onto your back, feet are flat on the ground, knees are up. Bringing those feet, moving those feet in as close as you can. A good proportionate space is when you can get those heels close enough you can touch them with your fingertips. So see if that's where that range is in your practice today. When we go into bridge, we're tilting, drawing the navel down, tilting the hips up so that then we start that curve and lifting of the pelvis and the torso. So breathing in, navel goes in, hips are tilted and rising up. And we'll let that down. Just getting some of that space. Tilt the hips, navel's in, lifting with the glutes and the legs. And we'll let that back down, curling hips to the last to roll. And this time we'll hold it. So tucking the navel, rolling the hips up into the sky. You might express this with shoulders rolling under and hands together. If you're feeling any tension in the knees, try pulling the knees towards each other, drawing in at the thighs. Try maybe moving the feet around or onto the toes. Different tensions are going to give you different little sniggly bits. Rolling shoulders out and slowly lowering the hips to the ground. Drawing on your block, I'm going to demonstrate the supported bridge, and we'll stay for about 5 breaths in the supported bridge, maybe 6. But I encourage you, this is a beautiful pose for resetting the nervous system. So if you're having one of those moments where it just has gotten hectic, or there's a lot of things you're carrying in your mind, you just need to settle for a moment, grab a block, grab a cushion or even a piece of furniture, and get yourself into this inversion where our heart is higher than our head. And give yourself a bit of a break. Here we go. Navel in, rolling the hips up to rise, and placing our block at the sacrum. Depending on your extension, you're going to use your block at different levels. Mine is just sitting under my sacrum, so I feel balanced. I can, and there is an expression of the pose where we raise the feet up, and it's not a strength pose. It actually is a balance where my body, I can get to that spot where my legs are soft and I am supported by the bridge or by the bolster. But for our support, it was just to test, show you in a good spot. You can feel quite good on that block. Just let the block hold the pelvis up. Roll those shoulders open so that the heart opens. The shoulder, our wing blends are down on our back. And arms are open. Palms are open to the sky. Resting here. Settle in for 5 breaths. At this point, we have 2 more breaths to go. You may want to experiment with extending the legs, opening further through the pelvis. You may want to bring soles of the feet together, recline butterfly, and let the knees drop open, further opening through the thighs. At this point, considering your breath, monitoring your body, asking the question, is there anything else to move in your body before you settle into rest? You're welcome to do that. Listening to your body talk. What will serve your body best for your closing meditative Shavasana? If you're comfortable in this position, you're welcome to be. Not to lift the hips and remove the block. Settling body back onto the mat. Stretching legs out long and wide if you want them to be. Hands might be on the ground, on the hips. Right hand on belly, left hand on heart. Possibly taking a moment to pull a blanket up over you as you settle in. Our resting Shavasana is the chance for the body to take in the entire practice. And there's no hiding from the brain and body connection. You know the strengths that you put to work. You know the challenges that you faced. Maybe you overcame them. Maybe you left them for another day. You know the thoughts that came up for you as you were practicing. Maybe in challenge, maybe in triumph. This is a quiet moment for all of the intuitive intelligence of your being to calculate all of that goodness and give you the great benefit of your practice at your cellular level. Settling in for Shavasana. Rest. Let your body reflect the gift that you've given it. this beautiful space that you've created for yourself. Think about one thing that you did well in your practice. Let it rise up out of you, a little sparkling star. Think of 2 compliments that your best friend would give you. She saw how great you were doing today. And let them rise up part of your smile, and twinkle in your eye, and light your path. Think of 3 gifts that you give to yourself, your home, your community, simply by being who you are. Watch those rise up and light your sky. It is with a grateful heart that I shine my gratitude towards you. And know that the stars that twinkle on my path meet the stars that twinkle on your path. And I so appreciate that we continue to walk forward together. Happy holidays. Have a lovely rest of your day. Continue your practice at all the moments that will serve you. Namaste.